War will never be the same again. New weapons, new strategies. But the real horror lies beyond the numbers and statistics. What is really happening behind the scenes of this brutal conflict? The unexpected arrival of North Korean soldiers, the direct confrontation with modern military technology, the fear etched in the eyes of those thrown into this war unprepared. But there is something no one is telling you. Find out now. Watch until the end of the video and see with your own eyes before it's too late. What you are about to see contains real war footage from the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. It is presented strictly for documentary purposes. We do not encourage violence. Recommended for 18+. War is now becoming a novelty in military strategy issues. Has changed the way conflicts are waged, making it a completely modern war. A military confrontation, but also an examination of the new trends in the war between Russia and Ukraine, demonstrate this reality. In recent months, the soldiers of North Korea have joined the Russians and brought a new reality to this modern war. In our documentary, you will see technology in use during conflicts with modern tanks and drones that have changed the course of history conflicts as we have seen them to this day. We observed the lack of structure and training in the North Korean army when they encountered Ukrainian drones. And Russia, as became clear, treats human life as a disposable object, making modern war the most dreadful of all to this day. In this documentary, we will see that war is more than a quest for territory, but a human tragedy. A new front has emerged in KSK in a combat zone, where Koreans advance toward the Ukrainian defenses. With Russian support, North Korean troops advanced to attack, but untrained, relying only on rifles. However, this assault from the very start proved futile. In the face of Ukraine's advanced combat technology, the North Koreans were at a disadvantage and were left stunned. During the Ukrainian defense against the North Korean attack, they directed their attacks against the soldiers who had limited training and were unfamiliar with the terrain. The North Koreans were detected due to their use of technology and became easy targets for the Ukrainian army. The North Korean soldiers moved in a state of panic, but in the open field, they had nowhere to hide. The Ukrainians then initiated a technological attack to stop the advance of the North Korean troops, eliminating the enemy systematically. Footage shows two North Korean soldiers trying to defend themselves against a drone attack, in utter desperation, not knowing what to do due to lack of training. The drone attacks ended up breaking the morale of the North Koreans and their ability to advance. One North Korean soldier made a grievous error and accidentally hit his own comrade when he unsuccessfully tried to shoot down a Ukrainian drone. It is clear that this army is not prepared for the modernity of today's warfare, being trained only for ancient battle tactics. Besides deploying drones, Mk9 grenades, automatic launcher were used. And once again, the lack of preparedness of the North Korean soldiers became evident. The enemy was grouping to advance, however, the Mk19, an automatic 40mm grenade launcher. What, once again, demonstrated the lack of ability of the North Korean soldiers. Against this powerful equipment developed by the United States in the 1960s, the Mk19 has an effective range of 1,500 meters and uses high-explosive M430 grenades, HE, capable of penetrating light armor and causing widespread damage. The roar of explosions and the fragments scattered around with this powerful weapon made it impossible to find safe cover on the battlefield, and it devastated groups of North Koreans on the move. At this point, balance on the battlefield was lost. Tanks entered the scene, and the enemy faced even greater challenges. The armored vehicles of Ukraine and Russia used strategic force and showed advances in armored technology. The Ukrainian forces secured control of the territory, using tanks with reinforced protection and high-precision attacks to neutralize enemy positions. Ukrainian forces managed to stop 2 North Korean soldiers as the armored vehicles proved highly efficient in dismantling the defenses established by Russians and North Koreans. The North Korean soldiers claimed they believed they were part of a training mission or military simulation. During the interrogation, it emerged that the North Korean government had involved them in the war. It became evident that North Korean soldiers, who were mere instruments in political strategies and not even skilled in military tactics, beyond physical combat. It was shown that the confrontations are a struggle for influence and psychological control. Their testimonies brought a clearer vision of the hidden realities behind the battles. See now a Ukrainian shooter opening fire on Russian targets from a tank. The Ukrainian soldier demonstrates emotional control amid the combat. An M2 Bradley infantry fighting vehicle, a United States infantry fighting vehicle designed to transport troops with armored protection and provide fire support on the battlefield. It combines mobility and firepower and engaged in direct combat with a Russian armored personnel carrier. The crew of the Russian armored vehicle began to abandon it while still in motion. Overwhelmed by despair during the clash, the attacks persisted and, in a short time, flames consumed the entire structure. Ukrainian intelligence detected a Russian convoy approaching their positions. Then Ukrainian drone squadrons launched kamikaze drones. The kamikaze drones headed to strike strategic targets. Kamikaze drones are unmanned aerial vehicles equipped with explosives designed to hit enemy targets with precision. Thus, modern technology redefines the dynamics of combat, making them deadlier and more strategic. The offensive was so intense that the Russian armored vehicles could not withstand the assault. Ukrainian drones identified and effectively neutralized the enemy armored vehicles. In an attempt to protect themselves, the soldiers sought cover, but it was not enough to ensure their survival. In a distinct moment, an attack highlighted the high lethality that drones can achieve in combat, where a Ukrainian drone takes out a Russian tank with pinpoint accuracy. With the impact on the tank, it was not possible to locate the soldiers in the face of the devastating power of drones in combat. After the tank was damaged, it was truly impossible to identify the crew. Subsequently, movement of 2 transport vehicles was detected, Russian armored vehicles, by Ukrainian aerial surveillance teams. The first armored vehicle was neutralized after multiple assaults. The vehicle was finally destroyed, which made it clear that strategies and technology are more important than armed conflict between humans, thus, in fact, a modern war. The second armored vehicle executed the landing of Russian troops at the destination in Ukrainian ground forces, using a Javelin, a portable, infrared-guided anti-tank missile system highly effective against armored vehicles, neutralized the armored vehicle as well as the soldiers who disembarked. With an M2 Bradley tank, a U.S. infantry fighting vehicle, designed for troop transport and offensive support, combining mobility, armor, and firepower. They eliminated the enemies in the area, and once again altered the balance of the confrontation in favor of Ukraine. The brutal and complex nature of the new form of armed conflict, in light of the technologies, are highlighted by the imagery. For example, the unprepared North Korean troops, with inadequate equipment and scarce information, suffered losses in their army, played the role of manipulated pieces, carrying out orders without question. They proved defenseless against contemporary technology and planning in the face of modern technological advances and the well-crafted strategy of the enemy, forced to fight due to political imposition. Thus, it is clear that we must raise questions about the human impact of conflicts and expose the profound tragedy resulting from technological warfare. the vulnerability of humans, and the destructive power of modern technology in conflict, highlighting the Ukrainian army's quest for freedom, showing that, even amid the brutality of conflict, the fight for autonomy and justice remains a central element in the resistance of those involved. This documentary represents perseverance that will be remembered not only by the Ukrainian people, but by all who cherish the freedom to come and go. Every sacrifice leaves its mark on the course of history, contributing to a greater legacy. The impact of this conflict transcends borders, echoing through time as a symbol of courage and sacrifice. And now, the big question. Will Ukraine win this war through advanced technology or the strength of its infantry? Comment your answer below, and since you watched until the end, leave a like now.